Hi, Jazz here. Welcome to video episode number 2, Why Read the Sunset Vampire series. If you're like me, there never seems to be enough time to do all the things you need or even want to do. This seems especially true when it comes to reading. So much you want to read, so little time, right? Well, add to that, last year alone, there were over 300,000 books published, and those were just the ones with ISBN numbers. You can imagine there were thousands more that were published independently and without ISBNs. So that's a lot of stuff out there that you have to choose from to read, okay? Today, there are more choices of novels to read in a host of genres than ever before. Take vampire novels alone. You have more choice of vampire novels than you've ever had before. So it makes you wonder, why should you read my Sunset Vampire series? My novels are well written. They're professionally edited. My characters are engaging, and the settings are immersive. Those are all qualities you want in any book, much less a vampire novel. However, with my novels, you're going to be able to vividly feel and immerse yourself into the storylines and the characters. You're going to immediately care about my characters from the moment you meet them. I'm confident that, for one, my Sunset Vampires aren't like any other vampires you've read about. Now, to avoid spoilers, I'm creating a video that specifically describes why my vampires are unique. So please check that out in my listing of official Jazz videos when you have a chance. That way, if you don't mind a few spoilers, you want to know a little bit more about them, you'll be able to see that before you actually try reading the series. Let's get back to characters. My characters are not only compelling, they're interesting, and you're going to care about them, as I said, from the moment you meet them. Katrina, my vampire, and Caleb, the primary human protagonist, are actually a very unlikely couple. Caleb's unlike any male hero from any series you've probably ever read before. That's partially because he's a beta male, but yet he has some alpha qualities as he grows in his character. However, you're going to root for both characters, whether beta or alpha, and Katrina definitely is an alpha vampire. You're going to root for them the moment you get to know them. You're going to fall in love also with 2 additional supporting vampire characters, Paige Turner and Alton Rutherford. Believe me, when you reach them in the novel, you'll know it. They leap right off the page at you. They don't leave any bite marks, though, so you're okay there. So the series, the Sunset Vampire series, it builds along some central themes. First of all, there's Katrina and Caleb's relationship. Each of those characters are moving from opposite ends of the spectrum toward one another. They each have weaknesses that the other person strengthens. So that's kind of nurturing in essence. They compensate for each other. They help to encourage and strengthen the aspects of each of those characters by supporting one another. I think that's a really wholesome quality in character development and in relationship development. I mean, that's kind of what you'd want in real life, isn't it? Then there's secrets. There are secrets to each of the characters' backgrounds, to their circumstances that are progressively unraveled throughout the series, moving toward what I think of as mini subplot climaxes. That sounded kind of dirty, but it wasn't meant that way. Also, with each novel, a series of challenges build from a localized setting to progressively something more global in scope and scale. So there's definitely an end game waiting for the readers. I know exactly where this series is going, and I know exactly how it ends. This isn't one of those series where things meander and get lost in the long run. I definitely have my eyes on the prize, so to speak. Now, the series is, of course, paranormal romance. But there is great gripping excitement building throughout each of the novels. There's also, again as romance, there's sensual description, but nothing sexually explicit. The scenes are suggestive, but I let your imagination take things beyond that. That approach has been really well received by readers thus far. And for those of you who have teens or preteens at home that like vampire series, you don't have to worry about them reading some compromising or overly suggestive material that you don't think maybe they're mature enough to read. As well as the violence. There's no gratuitous violence in the series. There is violence, but it's in the context of what's occurring with the characters of the storyline. So it's not wanton carnage, you might say. Well, with over 100,000 copies of Sunrise at Sunset Revamped, which is the first novel in the series, with over 100,000 copies in circulation, the positive reviews support my view that the series is definitely worth your time. I encourage you to go to Goodreads or Amazon or other places where book reviews are posted and read the reviews. They're very good. I'm very proud, very happy to see that. I'm really encouraged that the world is embracing my Sunset vampires the way they are. I believe that my series is among some of the best written vampire fiction that's available in the marketplace. I truly do. I'm confident you're going to like it if you like vampires. Also, in some vampire series, everything revolves around the fact that they're vampires. My series is actually about relationships and the building between the characters of those relationships and trying to overcome circumstances they're faced with. The fact that there's vampires in the storyline is not a central context to the fact that the characters themselves are building, growing, and nurturing. Now, find out about more about my novels, more about the Sunset Vampire series, and more about me, Jaz Primo, on my website at jazprimo.com. While you're there, check out my blog, which I try to update very frequently. Find out what projects I'm currently working on, and don't forget to sign up for my Jaz Very Occasional newsletter. I promise there'll be no spamming, and you won't receive a newsletter unless there's something truly noteworthy that's happening or going on. Until later, I'm delving into flights of fancy and realms of imagination, eagerly sharing with you. As always, enjoy your life, be kind to those around you, and hey, happy reading!